Elon Musk is the richest man in the world for a reason: his technological breakthroughs. Thanks to companies like SpaceX, Neuralink, PayPal, Tesla, and others, the man has had the opportunity to increase his numbers to impressive levels, and all this in much less time than other tycoons and entrepreneurs. He knows his way around the job market, and his companies are often among the best valued and most invested in globally. Therefore, due to all these assets that the entrepreneur has, he can afford certain luxuries and indulge himself from time to time. If we are talking about whims, we could say that Elon is one of those people who think big. If not, why else would you buy an $80 million plus private jet? What was it that prompted you to go to such expense for such a machine? And does it have anything to do with your busy work schedule? Although many of his followers assume that the real answer to that last question is a resounding yes, we cannot guarantee that those are the real reasons why he decided to acquire such an expensive aircraft. In fact, we could even say that the purchase may have originated from yet another whim of the businessman. Be that as it may, it is time to analyze the latest acquisition of the world's richest man. This is what the $80 million plus private jet Elon Musk bought looks like. As we have seen in other videos dedicated to Elon Musk, the tycoon and entrepreneur leads a quieter and more austere life than a few years ago. He decided to sell most of his properties before the pandemic began, and as far as we know, today he prefers to stay in the homes of his friends. He has, however, decided to stay away from certain excesses in luxurious living, putting above all his goals and the routine that he usually imposes on himself every week for most of the year. He seems to be very clear about what he wants and how he wants to achieve all these goals. However, even the most rigid of men have a weakness, and it seems that we have found one of Elon Musk's most notorious, in the figure of the new plane he has decided to buy. For those who don't know, the richest man in the world has decided to buy a high-end jet, which will see the light of day in early 2023. This information was released by the company Gulfstream, which is in charge of manufacturing some of the most complete public and private services in the world. In the commercial branch, we can find several models and presentations of these aircraft, but if you want to delight your eyes, nothing better than admiring its range of luxury vehicles, and the finishes that have each and every one of these machines. For his part, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX decided to close a deal with the aircraft manufacturer, and thus got a new jet that seeks to replace the plane he already has at the moment. Armed with more luxurious finishes, more space, and more modern details, Musk has yet to reveal whether he will sell his 2015-built G650 or keep it alongside the Gulfstream G700. What we can say about both jets is that they are so well built that the entrepreneur could easily ask for a significant sum of money if he were to put the old model up for sale. But is that his intention? Why buy a private jet if you already have another aerial vehicle? From what has been released about the G700 model, the craft is guaranteed at $78 million. It will be delivered to Musk early next year, and is much larger than its predecessor. The developers have revealed that the jet not only features a much more spacious, comfortable cabin and innovative finishes, but is also capable of carrying 12 passengers and 2 Rolls-Royce vehicles, while flying at an altitude of at least 15,500 meters above sea level. Its flight range is up to 13,890 kilometers, without refueling a drop of fuel, which will ultimately help Musk on his long journeys around the world. It could even fly non-stop from Atlanta to Hong Kong, ultimately allowing him to complete his workdays and meetings in a timely manner. Along with these outstanding features, we can also include his private Wi-Fi service, the 20 windows with panoramic views inside the jet, 2 bathrooms with luxury finishes, seats convertible into beds for the comfort and rest of the guests of the tycoon, and much more. Although Musk often emphasizes his simple, opulence-free lifestyle, we can't overlook the fact that he likes to pamper himself from time to time, indulging in certain pleasures and comforts, especially when it comes to traveling. Well, it seems that this question is answered with the following question: what crisis? Although Elon Musk announced a few days ago that Tesla would suffer considerable staff cuts, as well as the closure of the offices it had in San Mateo in the state of California, it seems that, at least for him, the situation is not as bad as it's portrayed. With the closure of that location, around 200 jobs were eliminated from Tesla's workforce, and several media outlets spread this news across the country. One company was slow to confirm these articles. In the end, they had no choice but to go along with these news outlets. Many of the employees who were affected by the crisis worked in the data analysis branch of the driver assistance system, which is widely known in the company as Autopilot. Although most of that workforce was paid hourly, the specialized site TechCrunch revealed that only 81 professionals kept their jobs and were transferred to the Buffalo plant in New York State, leaving the rest without their source of income at such a difficult time. During the Qatar Economic Summit, the tycoon said that 10% of full-time positions in his companies will be cut significantly in the next 3 months. Still, he expects the number of hourly employees to increase. At last count, Tesla had a workforce of almost 100,000 employees worldwide. This count is from the end of 2021, so we assume that this figure has already dropped in recent months. Even with the shutdown in San Mateo, Tesla reported record results in the first quarter of 2022. The multi-billion-dollar company reported an increase in orders and prices for its vehicles, which turned over 81% of what was expected, some $18.76 billion, which added to the rest of the company's cash. Similarly, net income increased 7-fold compared to the year-ago period, adding $3.3 billion to the equation. The company's factories have reportedly been operating below capacity for several quarters. The supply chain became the limiting factor to combat, and with the war and pandemic issue, it looks like Tesla's difficulties will continue this year, and perhaps part of next year. The company sent out a statement in which it made known the situation they are experiencing. In addition, the same document highlighted the shortage of semiconductors and that this problem has been affecting the entire automotive sector for a year. If we add to that the contagions suffered by several officials, we have a crisis that is slowly beginning to brew despite their profits. For example, the Shanghai plant had to stop production for at least 20 days. This following the shutdown of the assembly lines. Considering that Tesla also had to deal with the rising price of some raw materials, especially in recent months, what do we have? A considerable increase in the price of all your cars. Yes, the company delivered 310,048 vehicles this quarter, but if Elon Musk wants to weather the storm of the coming crisis, he will have to do more than just buy a private jet. With that comment, we come to the last part of the video. Although Elon Musk has enough capital to maintain his new jet, there are certain details to keep in mind that could make things difficult for him in the future. As we've seen in previous videos, the recession and the looming crisis in the United States has significantly damaged his capital. So, if he's not careful with his purchases, his status as the world's richest man could be in jeopardy. Remembering that fact, and that he has already lost more than 40 million so far this year, you who were thinking of buying the jet, do you think he was right to buy it, or do you think it wasn't the right time to risk making such a big offer? Don't forget to leave your comments on the video, and send us your suggestions. Remember that we read them and take care of your suggestions whenever we are allowed to. Thank you very much for staying until this part of the video. Remember to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. See you next time!